Thank you, EJ Cards, for your ongoing support of our podcast. And Sunday, March the 24th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Shop 3, 2 to 4 Whitehorse Road, EJ Cards March Madness Trade Day. Get in there, check it out. Designated kids trading zone that is staff supervised. Scarlet and Violet, Temporal Forces, new set release. Expected release date is the 22nd of March on that. The return of Carson's Pokemon Madness box. Free drinks and snacks all day. Rob, Jules, they are very gracious hosts. Come down and check out some free drinks on the boys. Mega NBA mystery boxes, probably packed up by Rimp. Discounted singles. Sometimes it's 10%, sometimes it's 20%. They'll let you know on the day. EJ Sports Breaks on Facebook, on Instagram, at ejcards.au. Check out the guys. Also, do not forget, go to the You Can't Comp This Facebook page. Click on the featured posts. You will find our promotion code anytime that you spend $50 at www.ejcards.com.au. They will give you free express shipping. Usual T's and C's apply. And as always, thank you, EJ Cards, for your ongoing support.
Welcome everybody to episode 133 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We are your host, Adam, Amy, and Russell Gibson. Big week in basketball.
Has it been a big in basketball?
I don't know. Is it any? I'd like to raise a point or 40,000 of them to start with.
Sure, go.
LeBron James is the first player in NBA history to surpass 40,000 career points. It's a pretty big week. And Anthony Davis has requested that LeBron stops breaking records because every time they do, the Lakers lose.
So you need to pitch this to me as someone who is not that interested in it. Why should I be interested in LeBron James getting 40,000?
Oh, now I need to Google what the average NBA basketballer scores in their career. How many points does the NBA? There is what? How many players have come before? Even if you not interested in the sport specifically, passing 30,000 points is phenomenal.
Yeah, sure.
The unbreakable record previously was set by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Nobody thought it was going to be broken, and then LeBron came along.
I also thought that too, just for the fact that I thought Kareem's body was so reliable. And the way he was a big guy with that hook shot, it just seemed like he could just consistently score at points. I get that. And there's a part of my brain that gets that too. Yeah.
I'm typing.
So what's the difference between Kareem and LeBron? What makes you think, why do you think he could overtake Kareem?
Longevity.
Yeah.
LeBron stays healthy. And yes, he's had injuries. In fact, he injured his ankle today. But his injury, the impact of his injuries is very minimal. He comes back and he puts in the work. He has played. This is year 21, and there's talk, and I'm really not sure how I feel about the talk, that in the off season there's going to be discussions about a hundreds of millions. It's going to be over $100 million for 3 seasons of over 40 years and over LeBron. This man's going to play until he's 42, 43 at this rate.
Sure.
Now, if you play that many seasons and you average what he averages, then yeah, you get to 40,000 points. But that is playing at an incredibly high level for an incredibly long period of time.
Yeah.
And to maintain that from the beginning of your career all the way through, I think is phenomenal. There was a stat, and I won't quote it exactly because I can't remember it exactly.
That's what we don't need. Exact figures on the show, Adam. You know that.
Boring, don't they?
Absolutely.
But it was how many games LeBron took for each bracket of 10,000 points, and the variation on it is approximately 20 games either way.
Yeah, right.
It's 360, 380, 350, 360 again. Crazy. Consistently, night after night, just delivers. So, yeah. He hasn't always been my favorite player. Obviously liked it when he came to the Lakers, but I just think you've sort of got to take your hat off and appreciate that here's a historical figure as far as the game is concerned.
Yeah,
And
look, I think the historical figure part that's not up for debate. I think
yeah,
the thing that people debate constantly is where does he fit into the Mount Rushmore of NBA players, and I've probably come to accept the fact that his own Mount Rushmore is just for his longevity, and I think that's something that,
mm,
in some ways, I wonder if we should be studying this guy from a sports scientist perspective.
yeah,
How does he do it? What is his secrets? What is his, yada, yada, yada. But then putting on my tinfoil hat, and I'm going to die on this island until it's, proven otherwise. I honestly think he's using some type of growth hormone that helps his recovery.
some form of legal
And illegal. And then
enhancement.
the day that he retires, they'll start testing for it. This is my tinfoil hat theory. So I'm going to
Yeah.
die on this hill. Really interestingly, I'm just looking at the all-time leading scorers list. So 1 is LeBron, 2 is Kareem, 3 Karl Malone, 4 Kobe, 5 MJ, 6 Dirk, 7 Wilt, 8 Shaq. That's interesting. 9 KD, 10 Carmelo. This is interesting. This is where it, for me, gets super interesting. Moses Malone at 8, Alvin Hayes, Hakeem at 13, Oscar Robinson, Dominique Wilkins at 15. Just
Mm.
going back to Moses Malone, though, how many 3-pointers did he make and miss in his career? Now, this is just like a stupid stat /
Moses
question.
Malone.
Have a guess how many he attempted. Because remember that guy, didn't really
How
have very much touch around the basket. Why on earth he shot as many 3-pointers as he did in his career, to me, that's kind of funny.
okay, 20.
He attempted 80, made 8 of them. So for a very gaudy 10% conversion rate through his career.
Oh, cute. Well, no, we
Hey,
all know how many Shaq made. He only had 22 attempts though for his one 3-pointer.
for his 4.5%. Yeah, delicious.
That's it. That's it.
Hey,
Him and Kareem have something in common.
absolutely, sub 10%. And actually, so before we were saying, why did LeBron get, maybe that is the answer, isn't it? 2,383 3-pointers made in his career.
Whee! That's a bit.
That's the difference between his scoring record and Kareem's, isn't it? It's as simple as that.
At the moment, it's half that, yeah. Because he's up by, what is he up by? 1,500, 1,600 at the moment.
Yep.
But he's also taken a lot less games to do it. I've got the stats. I just pulled the stats up then.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about some cards with LeBron? I think we're going through a real run at the moment of just loving these card comparisons from Card Ladder. So thank you, our friends at Card Ladder, for your ongoing support. We probably should have spruiked them a little bit more than what we do, really, shouldn't we?
I think we show them on the show every week. So
that is true.
I always have the Card Ladder info stuff up on the screen, LeBron James.
So Nikola Jokic White Sparkle BGS 10 last sold for $30,600. LeBron James Refractor, which is a little bit tricky to see that it actually is a refractor in that picture.
Yeah.
It looks like a white border, but let's take it for what the BGS label says. Sold for $29,400.
That's
keeping in mind LeBron is now the all-time leading scorer. Scored 40,000 points versus the 2-time MVP, 1-time champion. Where are you at with this card?
The LeBron is a very special card. It's very interesting that they're both BGS 10s.
Yeah.
I do think, I don't know. I'm looking, what's the pop count on that? 31, accompanied with the PSA 10, which has a pop count of 177. So that's around 200. And what was the Jokic?
That's the White Sparkle.
White Sparkle, pop count 7. So it's I think it's a very interesting one because I think Jokic is about to become one of those historic players if the MVP race is to be trusted. I think it's very close still, but I think Jokic potentially is a 3-time MVP this year. Pop count 7 on that rookie card versus pop 200-ish on the LeBron. But we're talking the greatest scorer of all time.
Yeah.
20-year prices, I think I'm taking the LeBron.
For me, this is a very hypothetical conversation because this is just not I don't tread into these waters. So, from what I'm about to say here on out is very hypothetical. But hypothetically, if I did have this amount of money,
yep.
And also knowing my personality type, I think I would go with the surer thing, which in my mind is LeBron. Now, the really interesting thing for me about this is I'm looking at the PSA 10s at the moment. Pop on that's 177, which is what you said before. But the all-time high price on this sold for $285,000 at one point. I think that happened in the COVID crazies, and
Sure.
I get all of that, but at the same time,
COVID crazies are the 10 to 20 year price points, though. People were paying future prices for everything.
That's what I was sort of thinking in the back of my head. Like, if it's been to that price once, yes, I think you'd have to be very, very patient, and I think you need to put it away into a very safe place. But at the same time, is actually a really good bargain at the moment?
30 grand for 300 down the track. Or you can invent a time machine, go back to when it was 280,000 and sell it. Hypothetically.
Yeah. I think you just get the Grey Sports Almanac at the same time, wouldn't you? That would just be way easier than trying to manipulate
go back with the
card sales.
Bet, yeah.
Deal with people on eBay. I've already told you off air my little eBay catastrophe today. So
yes. Imagine that with the Almanac.
So look, in my head this week, what I've been thinking about is Jordan inserts and Herbert Jones. That's all this stuff that's in the sheet today. To be honest, I haven't really been thinking about all that much. But so I'm just going to reflect what I have been thinking about this week onto this. And that's, Jordan is LeBron of the next sort of like, maybe 2 generations away. Because I think there's someone in between Jordan and LeBron, whoever that will be sort of card-wise. Look, I'm actually not that sure.
Mm.
And then after LeBron, I think it's going to be Steph, and then maybe there'll be maybe Luka. That's going to be the next one. But what I'm getting to with this is just that sort of liquidity of people, just buying and selling Jordans every day. I think it's going to be people buying and selling LeBrons every day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I like those card ladder comparisons. I'm just going to say.
You do. You love those. Yeah.
I think they're fantastic.
Alrighty.
Let's remember that the Jokic for 30K is not a bad pickup either.
No, I'm definitely not saying it's a bad, but I'm just saying at that price point.
LeBron is sure money. LeBron is just flat out sure money.
Yeah.
That is currency.
This next ad break is brought to you by Slambox, Australia's best value basketball repacks. Visit www.slambox.com.au to check out the latest series or join the Slambox Facebook page and message them directly. Slambox features big-name autos including Giannis, Zion, LaMelo, Banchero, Chet, Ja, Tatum, and more. Super short prints, case hits from a variety of different products including National Treasures, Flawless, Noir, Immaculate, Impeccable, and more. Slambox has different tiered product levels to cater for all budget levels and collector preferences. Thank you, Slambox, for your support. Sixers honor Allen Iverson with a sculpture at the training complex. Iverson's sculpture on the 76ers Legends Walk in Philadelphia will be unveiled on the 12th of April. I can't wait to see this. Look, I think culturally he's very important. It's a little bit of a shame for me he didn't win a championship. And then from a personal perspective, it's been a little bit painful at times watching him and some of the social media stuff that's come out around his, personal finances, him spending all that money on his posses and hotel rooms and all the other stuff that he, got up to and didn't save any money away. So
yeah,
allegedly his manager, he's locked away $1 million and he can get it when he's 50. It's in some trust.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's why he's, doing promotions of sports bet companies and
of course
doing signings again, all this type of stuff. I mean, good for him for actually, working and doing something. I think that's great. But he's legitimately he's been bankrupt. So I think that's
rough.
Yeah. That's the sad part. Look, I think, the card part, I'm not going to lie to you. I went something really easy. I just went his Topps Chrome rookie card. Card ladder's valuing that at $600. So I'm going to put this to you a little bit. Buy, hold, or sell an Iverson at $600 for a Topps Chrome PSA 10.
How much?
$600 US. And I think if you're just doing just straight out...
just the normal Topps Chrome? Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
The refractor is selling for $20,000.
What?
Pop 36.
That's crazy.
Well, the thing about Iverson is, and this is what I was saying at sort of the very start of the segment, is just how important culturally he's been. You can make the argument he's made more cultural impacts than NBA impact.
True. Yeah, true. Very true.
And at the same token, you could also say, why don't we comp him straight to Nikola Jokic?
You reckon Jokic, Iverson?
Well, think about their personalities, all the things they do off the court. You've got Iverson having all the wild parties and stuff like that. Then you got Jokic horse racing and not wanting to do media and just saying he wants to go home. He can't wait to go home. Then you got one guy who's the 2-time MVP and the champion, and the guy who couldn't come off the bench for the Memphis Grizzlies. Like that sort of thought is deeply etched into my head. Like I remember him.
Yeah, for sure.
He was in the NBA one day, and the next day he was out. Like he basically got waived by the Grizzlies. It was a really interesting case study. You could almost call it that. So
interesting.
I just wanted to recap with you last week's show. So the two things I want to recap was SGC. Have you got any new thoughts? Is there anything been on your mind since that's been happening?
Not really. Like I think it was interesting news at the time. Like as I said, they already had a monopoly. I'm not overly fussed. Like it doesn't impact me immediately. I'm like, okay, the juggernaut is bigger. That was my kind of take.
Yeah. And I'm totally fine with that, and I would agree with what you just said. But the thing that's really came in my mind this week is that there's nothing more been said about it. It's amazing how quickly the news cycle cycled, and it just moved on to the next thing.
Yeah, true, very true.
That really surprised me, and almost makes me wonder if people actually weren't that surprised, and that headline was more about creating a headline of the day as opposed to it actually really being news. And I think that sort of goes into what you're saying.
Yeah.
The juggernaut just became bigger. Actually what changed? Well, nothing. So
No. And that's, you're right.
My other takeaway from last week was Herbert Jones. So we were talking about Herb Jones last week. And I've sort of been in a funny place I've been enjoying the hobby lately. Like don't get me wrong, but the people who I enjoy collecting is Fox and Halliburton. Both of them have been sky high at the moment. So I've been very few and far between on buying cards. And Herbert Jones, on the other hand, is like my Admiral Schofield of days past, where you can pick up cards willy-nilly and it doesn't set you back. You know what I mean? You're not too fussed about what it's costing you. So look, I've actually had a really good week, and I've picked up a whole bunch of numbered Herb Jones stuff. I've got some autographs. I've got some silver prisms, and I've got a few more coming on the way. So it's been a really fun week, actually. So if anyone else has been picking up some Herb Jones and you're excited, definitely let me know on socials. It's always good to hear, people who pick them up.
Watch this space on Herb Jones.
Now, WNBA, we've been pushing this maybe not as organically as we should have been, but something I want to talk about. But this week, this is legitimate.
This is the news.
WNBA news. So Caitlin Clark has signed an exclusive deal with Panini. That's also significant from a collector's point of view because Panini still has the WNBA licensing. Fanatics doesn't have that. So I think what the concern was is that Caitlin Clark has already been signing with Fanatics, and she's been signing all the Bowman's Chrome, the Bowman's first rookies or whatever they're called, the first autographs.
Yep. So what first day auto, effectively next day auto equivalent.
Yeah. What my concern was is we were going to be having WNBA product that didn't have Caitlin Clark autographs in it, which I think, particularly in a product that's already niche,
better not.
You don't really have enough legs there to sort of support the rest of the product with, other prospects. Yeah. It's a little bit different in NBA. Like guys are still eating up the no autograph Wemby, Donruss next day orders.
I really don't understand that.
And Prism is still being eaten up because the silvers are selling so well, and then the number cards are doing so good. And look, this is a bit of a segue into this. And not only that, Prism hobby boxes have not had autographs in them sometimes at all. Has that been a problem for consumers buying into breaks? Look, I'm of course it does. You would rather get an autograph than no autograph. I'm not saying that even for a second, but I will say this. Prism is still sold pretty well. And I think the reality of people buying Prism, they're not really that fussed about autographs. What they want is the numbered cards. So yeah. Anyway, back to Caitlin Clark. Look, I think this is really exciting. The only thing I'm a little bit unsure about, though, is I actually thought she was going back to school for 1 year. So it makes me think that she's now going to come out and turn pro. So watch this space for that. Our friends at Card Ladder did put up a very interesting sale on March the 3rd. So this is 4 days ago now. 2022 Bowman University. So this is the Prism Draft equivalent. Caitlin Clark, best of 2022. Super Fractor, 1 of 1, PSA 9. sold for $16,500. The hobby love behind this young lady is real.
Massive, yeah.
Yeah. So I think if you're comparing, so like the question is, do we actually know if anything from Prism Draft has ever sold this high?
It's a really good question.
Like I'm really, I don't have any hard evidence behind this, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say nothing in the NBA has sold this high. So I think if you're trying to translate that back to what that means for, WNBA product when she gets into that, I think she's going to sell, really, really well. And look, I think that's exciting for WNBA guys. So, really good news here. I think this is a good news story.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it can't be anything but, really.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna move. It shoves the WNBA into the spotlight.
Yeah.
And that's always, it's got to be good for the hobby.
New release, Court Kings dropped.
Court Kings. Are we excited about Court Kings this year?
Are we excited about it? Why don't we talk about that? Are you excited about Court Kings dropping out?
I'm really excited about Court Kings. I don't know what it is, but Court Kings and I have never been friends. The sets just never really resonated with me. I don't know.
Do you mean
why.
the sets don't resonate with you, or you just haven't hit in Court Kings?
No, the product just, I don't know. There's something that doesn't quite vibe with me. I don't know what it is.
So I've always had a theory that each product has at least one card in it that's really fantastic. And actually,
Blank Slate.
Think, Court Kings has two. Blank Slate, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
And then I think the level 4s are excellent.
Yeah, I guess they're the super rare hits, so it's not something that I just go and kind of buy. Yeah.
At a push, I would also say too that the on-card autographs out of Court Kings are excellent. They do have stickers, and they have quite a fair few stickers.
No, you're right.
I'm not trying to defend that, but I'd also say Court Kings has really found its place, and I think also at the price point too, like it's come down quite a bit the last couple of years.
Yeah, true.
The only problem with Court Kings, and look, this is like that in any product that doesn't have very many cards in it. It can be a little bit heartbreaking when you're jumping into breaks in this, because you sort of have a 1 in 5, 1 in 6 chance of grabbing a card out of it. It's pretty rough. Look, we did find a couple of cards though that I thought were pretty interesting. A 1 of 1. I can never say this word.
Of 1.
Art Nouveau. Oh, geez, I'm just embarrassing myself.
Nouveau.
I'll take your word for it. Let's just move on. 1 of 1 Wemby hit. That is an absolutely beautiful card. The black background with the black uniform, and then it's got the washing tag, the laundry tag in it, which again is that black and white. Whoever hit that, just honestly, congratulations to. And I hope that just stays in your PC. It's a absolutely spectacular card.
Nouveau.
Thank you, Adam. I should have made you say that instead of me trying to say it in the first place, though. And then the other one I think to really quickly talk about too. So blank slates, I haven't seen any out yet. I don't think let me rephrase that. We haven't seen them because the blasters aren't out yet, but the level 4s are definitely hitting eBay at the moment. So if you're looking to pick up a couple, you haven't gone in breaks, you want to buy singles, definitely check that out. What do you think of the level 4 designs this year, mate?
It's I don't know. They seem to do, how do I say it? They're good. They're good. I'm not gonna say they're my favorites. I think when was it Matt Tabe we had on the show, because he's got a collection of them, the level 4s.
He is literally Mr. Court Kings. That's correct. Yeah.
He loves the level 4s. I don't mind this year's.
A few episodes back, we did a segment where we ranked them all in order of preference. And I got to tell you, I think for me, this would be like middling down towards the bottom. And I'm still staying with my 17-18 pick. I think that was amazing. The thing 17, I do like, what I do like about this, though, is the color match. I think they've done a really, really good job on that. And I think some of the color matches in the design look very good. So
what was the, what's the player? Hang on. Bear with me. I like the color match, but so I'm looking at the Grady Dick.
yeah, one, Mr. Big,
of course, because
yeah.
Love the color match surrounding, but the black and white, the grayscaling image of the player, I don't know. I feel like that takes away from the quality.
Okay,
but I understand why they're doing it. But
it feels to me like it gives the card some depth, almost like it's 3D.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like I've looked at a couple. I've got the Najee one, right, and that seems okay. But the Grady Dick just, I feel like the black and white, the grey detracts from it. I
Yeah,
don't know,
okay.
but yeah.
Yep.
Definitely not their best work, but certainly not their worst.
Yep.
How's that?
That's fine. All right. Now, we really owe this young man an apology. Shea Gilgeous Alexander, SGA, we apologize.
Nah. Yeah, right. Fine.
We haven't given this kid enough hobby love for whatever reason that is. We have spoken about the
Someone's given
Thunder.
him a bit of hobby love.
Yeah. So SGA is just up across the board. I think that's the easiest way to say what we're about to say. And he's having some really, really big sales happening at the moment. So I think we talk about that a little bit. 2018 National Treasures, vertical RPA, number to 99, last sold for 21,000, nearly 22,000 USD. I think once you're getting up into that 10,000, 15,000, $20,000 mark.
Just look at the slide, not the slide, the reverse slide. Like, look at the climb.
The ladder. Look at the ladder.
Yeah. Look, it looks like if it's coming the other way, it's like a massive slide. But the spike is huge.
My feelings about these prices is people are no longer prospecting. These are like real prices that you're putting money into something that you can see and that you really believe in. That's sort of my feeling about this. And so
SGA is elevated this year, and I think it's with the success of OKC. Do you know what I mean? Like, he is the front of that charge.
Yeah, sure. And I'll turn that around. But do you think that they're playing well because of him?
No, I think they're a good team.
Okay. So in that case, if you traded him 1-for-1 for you name any other point guard.
Cool. I'd take Halliburton over him.
Okay, sure. Halliburton. Do you think they would have still the same team success?
Maybe you're right. No, Halliburton would be bad because he would assist more than he's a scoring machine.
So I will say this openly. I need to watch more Thunder. That doesn't mean I haven't watched much Thunder. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I need to watch more. I think these guys are really good. And so my observation about Shea is he's such a really interesting hybrid in that he can set people up and he can score when needed. He can be aggressive when needed. He can be passive. And I think that's what he's really good at. Just like picking the right moments, inserting himself when he needs to, being passive when he needs to.
Yeah.
Like, he has this really uncanny knack just to sort of do things, the right thing at the right time. So that's sort of where I'm going with this, man. Like, I actually really wonder if, is he one of the best 5 players in the league at the moment?
Wow. Is he?
If he doesn't get named All-NBA this year, I will be shocked. Outraged is going too far. Like, we need to temper this a little bit. But
yeah, outrage is probably a little on the
particularly the way not the judging, but these awards get directed and driven. Like, it's sometimes they need to be really good for 3 years before they get recognized. And that's a little bit annoying about the NBA. So if you look, just going for pure sample size here. So go to his silver PSA 10s, go to the all-time graph. You see a very big uptick all the way up to 1,500. Then, of course, it slid down, and then he's got this very progressive upward. So at one point, you could have picked one up for 400. They're currently sitting around, let's call it 700, 695 is the last sale. Do you think that's a good buy at the moment? Pop is 603, so we're getting up there with Pop.
It's one of those. It's gonna be one of those pop count cards, I think.
So when is it a good price and when is it a bad price? I'll leave that with you.
I think 600 is okay. 5 to 600. He needs to do more for it to go up, but I think he's on that trajectory. I might be being a bit critical. Pop 600 is actually not too bad, considering the era he's from.
Yeah. So my feeling is that this is going to be $1,000 card.
I think it might.
In the next 2 years.
Yeah.
I would also add to that too, the pop on that is definitely going to go up because this is 2018. This is the same year as Luka. Like, let's not mince our words here. Those cards are out there. It's just a matter of time till they get, sent off and graded. So I think, we know PSA's got the capacity that they'll be able to lean on SGC if they get a bit banked up,
I have a thought, Now, I'm not criticizing because he's Canadian, but if OKC is his success or his hobby love going to be based on the Thunder's success?
I actually think he's stepped over that now. I think people I really think people are recognizing his talent so much, and then like look at that graph, man. I really think that graph is. You look at his all-time graph.
Yeah,
I actually don't really think that's that much team generated, because if you really think about how much success they've had, it's been pretty minimal. But at the same time, and this is my argument from before, I think a lot of the success that they have had is behind Shea and his ability to just like do what needs to be done so consistently.
He gets it done, and he's a scoring machine.
Yeah. Card ladder sale. This is from, the 3rd of March. 1 of 1 black PSA 9 sold for $196,000 US. So
not Canadian dollars?
Not Canadian. What would that be? Around 300,000 Canadian. Look, that to me is staggering. Like that is just an absolutely, ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
And again, that sort of just cements that theory in my head that, this guy's really here to stay hobby-wise, and
so
that $600 is a good buy.
I'll pose the question.
Yeah, hit me.
196,000 US.
Yeah.
For this.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is the bounty on the Luka? It's $1 million bounty.
Yeah.
So is this a bargain at 196K?
Look, I got to tell you, I think the person who bought this for that much is seeing something that I'm not. I mean, in saying that amount of money is very hard for me to correctly fathom.
Yeah, fathom. Yeah. It's all putting it into context is
like stealing your words. I really think that's a future price. I don't see, if you sold that tomorrow, I find it very, very difficult to believe that you're going to get that same price or more.
Sure. Well, Ken Golden gets the best price, doesn't he? Yeah. Anyway.
That was not a sponsored segment either, people.
No.
We're just ad-libbing here.
We are.
Yeah.
But if there is $1 million bounty on the Luka Doncic from this year, same year as SGA, is Luka 5 times better than Shea?
He's not 5 times better, but I don't think you need to be. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that's really how the narrative goes. But
if Luka he wins an MVP, is it a $250,000 card?
Luka is a hobby darling, and
darling.
I mean, he is. Come on,
he is.
Man.
He's a golden child.
Maybe you can make the argument that SGA
my little anti-Luka protesters had an impact.
No, he's like the connoisseur's choice.
The connoisseur's choice.
Man, $200,000 US for that card. I mean, come on, that's like
it's a chef special.
You can't ignore this business. It's to steal a word from a podcast. That's nonsense.
Yeah, nonsensical.
Last week, we did a segment about Victor versus the field, and we had a little bit of back and forth on that, and then we put it up onto socials, and we had a lot of comments. So thank you, everyone, for jumping in. I say we just really quickly run through some of them, maybe not all of them, because there is 50-something comments here, so we'll just quickly go through a couple. ADOS wants to go in a time machine and buy the Topps auto straight off the website. Yeah?
Yep. Is that so he's, what is it? A Wemben, oh God.
He's a Wembenyama man.
He's a Wembenyama man, not a Wembenyama man.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think our delivery of
we'll have to get ADOS back on to
his comedy is quite as good. Yeah.
Luke
Rowe wants a Kobe, a Şengün, or a Hakeem.
Yep. Yeah.
David Ralph, Luka, Hallie, Paulo, SGA. So basically, I think if we just want to summarize this into one line, basically everyone's going for the field. I think that's the synopsis here. Jared Begg would go MJ inserts, which is going to be this week's Facebook post. Show me your MJ inserts for less than $100 and less than $200, and aesthetically pleasing ones.
Yeah.
Because this is what I've been mulling over in my head this week. Is it basically just the right play just to be buying up any MJ insert, getting it graded and just putting it away and waiting for that spike to happen?
We're at LeBron ones. Is that going to have the same impact?
I wonder if you have to just tack on another 10 years onto your project if you do that, though.
Yeah. But you can pick them up nice and cheap now.
Yeah, definitely.
But you're right. It looks very, very the field.
Yeah, John O'Michael's buying the field. Luke Batterson, I'm not sure if you've commented before, mate, so welcome. Buying the field, Kobe, auto, or LeBron if you could afford it. Yeah, definitely. I think that's the Big Al's buying Luca autos. Ryan Miller, 1 of 1, Luca auto. Okay.
If it's 1-on-1, a Luca auto, otherwise like 100 other Mavs cards on card autos. Okay. That's some
Blair,
of the field.
MJ, or LeBron. George is buying Patrick Ewing, which surprise, if
Probably
you
get
don't know
multiple
George.
Patrick Ewings for that.
He might, yeah. Alrighty, Andrew Sudi Hewitt probably put our first detailed answer in. Mass-produced silver rookie will only come down once the pop goes up. Would rather spend the money on sealed product of his rookie year, as he's not signing with Panini. Sealed product would hold more value long-term, especially if low-print golds, 1-of-1, etc. aren't pulled going further into his career, so should drive the price up. Look, I don't disagree with that in principle. My only thing at the moment is that sealed prices from retail and recommended prices are just so high at the moment on the secondary market. Like, I think that in 16, 17, 100%, that's right. 17, 18, yes, you're putting it away. And early 18, 19, yes, but something triggered and the prices have come down a lot, but it's still not back yet, you know?
Yeah.
I think the other thing about that too is putting away sealed product, your money goes away pretty quick. Like if you spend $10,000 on sealed product, what are you going to get? 10 boxes? You know, like it's a lot of money for not that many boxes. Like so it depends on your budget, obviously, but yeah, that's a tough one. But yes,
that's
Andrew,
true.
I think you're right, mate, but I just think it's maybe a bit tricky at the moment. Yeah.
Just a tiny bit.
Mark, I'd like to add a Steph Curry kaboom to the collection. Corey, you might have to help me out with this one. Add Connor Bedard all day.
Who?
Okay, good. Matthew Hull, I'm buying Adley Rushman or Jackson Holiday in MLB. Actually, I'm going to delete this out of the podcast. This is the NBA podcast. Matthew, you know better than that, mate. Luke Batterson.
Can I quote Matt Hull's little hashtag? Haters
Only if it's I was going to say only if it's NBA related, but yeah, you can.
Haters gonna hate.
Take that.
Yep.
Luke Batterson, I ended up buying myself a Curry Spectra on-card autograph. Yeah, look, I don't think that's crazy, actually. Yep. Amir's our sponsor with the Bangman. It's probably a good time to segue into a bit of Bangman, hey?
Yes. And say we got the...
Alrighty. The Bangman March Gold Edition is now live. Limited edition number of boxes being packed up, which include 23-24 Prism Hobby Packet, 23-24 Prism Hobby Packet again, 22-23 Select Hobby Packet, 21-22 Select Hobby Packet, 21-22 Select H2, 21-22 Prism Fast Break, payment options, Pay ID, PayPal, Afterpay, Zip Pay. He's got it all there for you. 6 big packets, 3 rookie classes, $4.99 delivered to your door in the unmissable Bangman packaging. So, Amir, thank you so much for your support. Now we can segue back to your answer. I think a LeBron James PSA 10 blank slate, yep, or an MJ refractor for that kind of money. Yeah, look, it's a real thing at the moment. Like the prices that these Wembanyamanas are going for are absolutely legit. So, and you can. I think this has been a really fun conversation for me because it really does sort of channel that sort of, you have this much money, where's your best money being spent into? And it's really interesting that collectors are more going away from that. So
it's very, it's actually insightful to see, where everybody's at as far as the hype around Wemby. Like nobody's saying that Wemby's going to be terrible, but they're just, I think that the silver prism, like, I don't know, panic buying or the spike that happens initially, look, people are very wary of it.
I get the hype around this kid, and I actually don't think people are silly paying this. Like, just for the record, in saying that, no one wants to be paying future prices, and then we've all seen the huge population numbers of these cards that they can get up to. Like 2,000 Lucas is crazy town, and so what if it gets to 3,000? The centering on these
Yeah.
cards this year looks actually pretty good. We've ragged on Panini for quality control for the
Sure.
last 2 years. Actually, I think that has mostly been, fixed up. So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I definitely agree.
Right. Actually, this next segment is non-NBA related. It's actually about ice hockey, but I want to bring this back to basketball in some small capacity. So
Yeah.
David Adams have put out a $1 million bounty for Connor Bedard, Outburst Gold,
Woo!
1 of 1 Young Guns. So for people like me that know nothing about ice hockey, he's like the next LeBron James. I reached out to my hockey buddy. This is what he told me. He's like the next LeBron James. It's the one that everyone's going to be collecting in ice hockey. And the Young Guns is like their rookie cards, basically. So they're the one that everyone collects. So how am I going to turn this back into basketball talk? Look, we spoke tonight about WNBA, the Caitlin cards, her signing with Panini, some of the comps that she's been done. We've just been talking about some pretty high prices with Wembanyama. Now we're talking about $1 million bounties. I'm trying to find some positivity in the hobby at the moment because I know we have had a little bit of local negative news with, Razzers going bad and admins of groups leaving, changing hands, whichever words you want to use it. So
Yeah. The hobby is in a good spot, and I think we need to or occasionally we just need to refocus in on that.
Yeah. And that's exactly, what I really want to talk about here. And, I think this stuff makes it really exciting. So,
Yeah.
look, you can say what I'm about to say is misguided and I'm wrong. And that's fine. And I'll accept this criticism. But I ripped 3 Prism blasters this week. And I'm not going to lie to you. I got swept up in the whole Victor Wembanyama chase. I hit absolutely 0. But it was fun. Like the excitement's there. And I think these bounties, these high prices coming out of, after sale prices, like it kind of does make it fun,
it hypes everybody up.
Yeah. So
not everybody's going to hit a Wemby 1 of 1, or you know what I mean? Like,
I'm not going to lie to you. I was kind of hoping for a numbered Wemby out of that blaster. I'm not going to lie to you.
We'd all love it, right?
I had my hopes set high.
Yeah. But it's one of those things that you got to be in it to win it, right?
You do.
So
you do.
Getting a blaster and having a crack seems like fun.
Right. We are going from $1 million bounty to basically like NBA nerddom. NBA University, we spoke about these guys last week. They are just smashing out the content at the moment at NBA_university. If you do not follow them on Twitter, do now. This is about Anthony Black. Anthony Black's shooting mechanics have vastly increased in speed from college. He also shot 30% on 93 threes from college line and is shooting 40% on 83 NBA threes. So if you don't know, the NBA three-point line is further back than the college three. So usually guys shoot worse in their first year. The pros not better. So this is, it's a big thing. He is a great defender who has clearly put in a ton of work. Can't wait to see what he does with a full summer. I was already talking about Anthony Black a few weeks back. I'm just doubling down on this again with like the echo chamber. I found a couple of sold prices too on eBay. He's not on Card Ladder. Don't even bother looking at. He's not nearly a big enough fish to get his own Card Ladder page.
No, not yet.
The Blue Ice to 125 sold for $112.
Okay.
A Gold Shimmer to 10 sold for $910, which I was very surprised about that. His
Very
silver sold for 99 cents. So again, we've found 3 very different price points for different collectors to jump in. This next one is for Al. So this is the red dice Prism Monopoly card that sold for $34. Where are you at with Monopoly? Because
of the scarcity, I guess, locally of the product, I don't see it, so I don't look for it. But
if you really wanted some, you could go to eBay and buy some and get it shipped out, right?
Yeah.
Why have you not done that?
Because it's gimmicky. If I was going to search for Prism, I'd go and get Prism.
That's where I'm at too. Like I haven't ripped any of that stuff. I'd rather just rip like a straight Prism blaster. But
yeah,
the after sales of it are doing a lot better than what I was expecting it to be, and people seem to enjoy it.
The game, like, is it?
I don't think
has anyone played it. All right. So this is
no one's going onto eBay and spending $35 on an Anthony Black and then playing with it in a game. Like no one's doing that, man.
I played Magic the Gathering for like 20 years, so I'm used to playing with very expensive bits of cardboard.
All right, okay, I'll admit if I'm wrong on that one, but
You can top
I
load
find that
them
very difficult to believe. That's all.
I can't imagine you shuffling them and throwing them around and stuff. But surely there'd be some fun to be had. I don't know how the game works, so I'd be curious. I'd be very curious.
So segue for 2 seconds. You said you've played with very expensive Magic cards. What's the most expensive Magic card you've put onto a playing table?
I owned a Black Lotus. I owned the Power 9 when I played Magic the Gathering. So
what was that worth at the time?
At the time, it was worth about $6,000.
Okay.
But yeah, currently they would be worth a little bit.
That's some high roller status there, Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to play in an event called Masters every year for like old school Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, most of the expensive Magic cards were in one store, which was kind of scary to fathom the value of cards that were in one place.
Yeah.
Being played with and shuffled, and like I'm talking like just in sleeves shuffled.
Yeah, right.
It's crazy. Let's look at some recent sales. 10,000 US.
Just a lazy 10,000 US.
9 to 13 is a range that I'm seeing at the moment. 13,000, yeah. For an unlimited Black Lotus. In decent nick. Like
all right.
BGS 8.
This next segment, not so happy. Scottie Barnes injury.
Oh, talking about positivity. Now we're into the injury run.
Out indefinitely.
That's not good.
I think this is the type of injury that he's going to be totally fine from, and there's going to be no ongoing, lingering issues.
Let's hope
in saying that, if they keep him out for the rest of the year, I'm not going to be shocked because the Raptors have already emptied out a significant part of their roster.
Yeah.
I don't really think they're interested in winning that much this year. Look, I'm actually sad is not the right word, but I'm not happy about this. I've really enjoyed watching Scottie Barnes this year. I think that there's not that many players can do what he can do on both ends of the floor, and he has really come out as a leader this year. I've really enjoyed watching him play. So
yeah,
he doesn't have a card ladder page. Guys, get this fixed. It's Scottie Barnes, for God's sake. Yeah. I did find some comps though. Raw Prism Silver rookie card sold for $20.02.
Cha-ching.
I think that's a nice buy.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if you're looking at someone who in the future... I should
stop picking on people that play in Canada or live in Canada. Maybe Canadians need to buy more cards.
I think it matters, but I don't think it matters because if he's all NBA in the future, I think he'll pick up.
I think Barnes is doing all right. He'll be okay.
I do think what you're saying is probably true, though. If he was in a different market, like if he was in New York, we'd be talking about different prices here. Like we've seen what's happened to Jalen Brunson, and I think Scottie Barnes is, 3 times better than him.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep. That's a really good point.
Russell Westbrook is also injured.
Sorry.
Fracture in his left hand. Look, if we know anything about Russell Westbrook is that he'll push his body as hard as he physically can. Like he came back from he had a meniscus surgery and it was back 3 weeks later or something ridiculous.
Like he's hungry. He will get out in the court for sure.
So I think, look, it's not like people never gamble on basketball. I was actually thinking he was like a very dark horse to be sixth man of the year. I think that completely, destroys any chance of that happening now. So that's probably my only impact that I see happening here. Look, card-wise, nothing at all, honestly. I don't see anything about this. All right, frothing over some cards. Steph Curry Kaleidoscope. We just need to talk about Prism just a little bit more. I was really just trying to find another reason to talk about Prism. We've spoken about the numbered rookie cards. I think this is really just time to talk about some of the inserts. They look good.
I'm down with that.
They look good this year. The kaleidoscopic card in silver looks amazing, and the photo I took of it
doesn't do it justice.
Looks okay, but it took me a long time to get it that good, and it looks way better when it's actually in your hand. So if you do get one of these, you buy them on the aftermarket, you get them in breaks. Look, I would say do you hang on to them. I think they're just really nice cards. Do I think they're going to go up in the future in value? No, I don't. There's going to be a million of these. It doesn't matter in that sense, but they're really good cards. And then someone said, and I do apologize, whoever's idea I'm stealing this from, but I'm trying my best to give you credit, that they're almost like a baby Color Blast.
Like it. I like it. I like the thought, behind that.
And I agree with that 100%, by the way. And I actually think Panini's done this many, many, many times. That's not the first example we can think of this, but I think that's
Well,
good.
you've got, what is it, the mini kabooms?
Yeah,
There you go.
the baby kabooms. You're right. And so you can't afford a color blast? Great. Shop in the price range that you can. Go out and get a kaleidoscopic. They're sick cards.
Here's a card that's got a similar aesthetic about it.
Yep.
That isn't an affordable price, and I think that's really thoughtful and smart of.
That's 2% of the price of a kaboom. Like, honestly, like that's realistically what we're talking about here. So,
yeah, agreed.
Right, Kobe White has been playing really, really well for the Bulls.
He has.
Against my boys, unfortunately. 37 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Now, I put this into the sheet for 2 reasons, because his pop on his cards is just like ridiculous.
Isn't he like one of the most graded players?
Yeah. And so this part of the conversation, like for me, the reason why I find this interesting is because his prices are really low. So a silver PSA 10 is sitting at the moment for about $43. And if you look at the trend here, he's basically been trading around that for 2 years now. And he hasn't barely moved. But where I'm going with this is in the last two years, I think he's gotten a lot better. And so at what point do you kind of start to say, well, actually, this is pretty good value. I should be picking these up. Keeping in mind, the pop on these is 1,668, and that's just in silver PSA 10.
So I have a question now. If there's so many of his PSA, where do we look for Kobe White? Because I have a thought. I'm on Card Ladder at the moment.
Sure.
Kaboom.
Yeah.
I think the Kaboom is a really smart investment.
Yep.
Also, you might find a Kaboom that's graded at BGS 9, but that last sold for $126.90.
Yeah.
Found one for below $200.
Yeah, great.
I mean, it's BGS 9, but
I mean, if you really hate it, you can always cross it over, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. But like, it's a rookie. It's a rookie card. It's a Kaboom.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's a tick.
All right. So basically, what we're coming to the conclusion is he's overgraded. Let the silvers go. Look at other stuff, and that's where I'm going with this. Is he a buy at the moment?
I think there's areas with which he is a buy.
Yeah.
People obviously don't agree with the Kaboom. That Kaboom's last selling for like $125, but down heaps. But yeah, like I think if a player is overgraded in that flooded sense, I think the sensible move is to look at other cards.
Yeah.
Where the population counts aren't high, but the card quality is high.
Yeah. Look,
so if you go to Prism again, you go the numbered stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just at the point now where I think his talent is exceeding his card prices.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, that doesn't come without caveats. I think the Bulls are going to be tricky in the next couple of years because the only thing the Bulls management have shown is that they want to hang on to whatever veterans they've got to try and win 2 more games this year, but it might mean that the development of the young players is, not going to be as good. Like playing DeRozan as many minutes as they are, giving him as many shots, to me that is illogical and it just doesn't make sense. The whole roster construction doesn't make sense. I've already said this. They need to blow the team up. So I think that
agreed.
could impact
Completely
him.
agreed.
Now that's the cup half empty. Cup half full is that actually I think him and Pat Williams is going to do quite well together.
Yeah.
I think Pat Williams needs someone like Kobe White.
That's interesting,
a lot. And vice versa. I think defensively, Kobe White needs someone like, Pat Wills to basically mop up all these shortcomings. Look, do I think this is an absolute home run? Absolutely not. But I also think we can't not at least explore the idea.
I think it's worth it. And I think the Kabooms are good. A rookie Kaboom is actually not a bad card.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just thinking. Anyway, yeah.
Right. We're pretty much up to the hour mark, so why don't we do 2 more things and then we'll tie off.
I'm down with that.
Your 2 favorite segments, and this is the one I wanted to do the most this show. So it's Chet, Gold Prism, PSA 10.
Yeah.
Sold for $36,000 versus Devin Booker, Gold, number to 10, BGS 9. Also,
I really love these card ladder comparisons. Have to say.
This one to me is probably the juiciest we've done in a long time because you've got the guy who is all raw power, oozing potential, talk smack to everybody that he can possibly do it to. Sort of exploded onto the scene. I think that's the best way to describe Chet. Whereas you got Devin Booker, came into the league a little bit green, super young, like he couldn't even grow a beard when he first came into the league.
Still can't.
Whereas now he's pretty confident. He's got some swagger, but he's on a loaded veteran team that I'm not saying is holding him back, but if he was on a less of a team, he would be getting more numbers. I think that's very reasonable to say.
Yeah, I guess with someone like KD on the team, someone like Beal, he is.
And Beal,
overshadowed, I guess is the right word.
Look, I think they're using Booker a lot. I don't think his utilization is a problem, but, obviously, if you've got these other two guys on the team, your shots are going to go down. But look, irregardless of that, which one are you buying? You have to pick one.
I have to pick one of them.
You can't choose another card. That's killing the exercise.
I'm taking the Chet.
Really? All right. You got to tell me why, because I'm going for the Booker.
Because it's a PSA 10.
Okay.
Because of the grade. That's purely it.
Yep, that's fine. Sure.
Yeah. I do think long term there is definitely value in Booker, but yeah.
So I'm going for Booker, and the reason is because I see your point about the PSA 10, and that's fine. The only thing I would say to that is, particularly in the lower numbered stuff, like grade matters, but like, does it really? There's still only 10 of them.
True.
You know what I mean? It's like,
agree. Yeah. But the chance that that's pop 1 because of it.
Yeah. Totally.
Difference between being pop 1 and pop 3 or something.
Yeah, I see your point, but like that, I can live with that. At number to 10. Now, I'm going with Booker because I think he's more of a sure thing. He's very consistent. I think he's got an NBA body that's going to last a while. I think he's going to be pretty robust. I feel not stressed about that. Whereas with Chet, all the bravado, explosion onto the scene, the trash talk, I get that. I see all that, but he already sat out an entire year.
Yep.
And
that's where he refined his trash talking.
36K on somebody that, to me, is going to be a bit of an injury thing. So people have been saying...
When you said 36K, I thought that you meant his weight.
If there was 10 of that guy, it wouldn't be 36K. So the Victor naysayers have been saying he's an injury risk. He's going to be injury prone. He's not going to survive in the league. But he's still, in my mind, stronger than Chet possibly will ever be. And that's fine. Like,
that's big.
Look at KD. It doesn't matter that you've got that type of body type. Like, you can survive, but at the same time, I don't know. I actually think Chet is more of a risk than Wembanyama. So, yeah, that's why I'm going for the book.
I like it.
Thanks.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm worried the Booker's going to fade into irrelevance because KD overshadows him.
Yeah, possibly. He's still got a long time in his career, though, so it'll be right. All right, we're going to finish off with your favorite player in the league, which is Luka Doncic. National treasures, RPA to 99, $35,000, and a Tatum, $30,000. Basically the same card. Can I say that the Luka patch is way, way, way better than the Tatum one? Yeah, you can say that.
Okay, well, I will say that then.
Yeah.
The Luka patch is way, way, way better than the Tatum one.
The 3-color versus the 2-color matters a lot, doesn't it?
And there's substance to it.
Yeah.
Like, is that part of the 0 or the B in the Boston?
I think that's the D from the Dallas.
No, I meant the Tatum.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was a little square. The Luka card.
The Luka's the D from Dallas for sure, right? Or Doncic at the back.
Maybe.
Yeah, I couldn't.
So what are you taking?
Huh.
Because off the air, you were talking to me about what the boys said on Sports Cuts and Nonsense. I think that's the perfect time for you to...
It was that Mike said he was going to put all of his Tatums in a hold box.
Right.
Because he reckons he's undervalued. I'm actually going to go with the Tatum because it is authenticated. It isn't graded versus a 9.5 on the Tatum. As much as I talk about verification and authentication, this is a numbered to 99 card, not a 1 of 1.
Yeah, the card's not graded. The Luke that I should have added that in. That is correct, mate.
Yeah. So I'm going to go for the Tatum because it's a BGS 9.5. I don't know what the pop count is, but I imagine it'd be less than 99. that's just a guess. But yeah. I do. I prefer the Luca patch. I reckon it wasn't graded on purpose because National Treasures can grade very poorly.
Oh, definitely.
The Luca's got an amazing looking patch, but I still think the Tatum's undervalued for what it is.
And that fits exactly into Mike's narrative, isn't it? That you basically got. Well, you could actually make the argument that the Tatum is a better card because it's BGS 9.5, but it's nearly $6,000 cheaper.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a tough one.
Well, if you go with the Luca, we can get one each.
Look, I was probably leaning towards the Luca anyway.
Yeah,
I'll go with Luca. So now I need to be able to justify this. So I think that you have more potential to make a higher return on investment on the Tatum, but I think at the end of the day, I'll just stick to I'll keep this very simple. I do think Luca is the hobby darling.
Yeah.
And I was actually saying this week in the group chat. Do you think that Dallas is now getting some real chemistry together and actually he and Kyrie are becoming a good duo?
Every now and then.
Because what I've noticed about Dallas is they're just running 5% fast break possessions more, like just a little bit. And then Luka is holding onto the ball for 2 seconds less per possession. And that means Kyrie has a little bit more time to move and the role players have, like, everything is just, they're doing all these like little things. I actually think Luka is getting to be a better basketball player.
Interesting.
I actually think I love watching Luka play basketball, and I've enjoyed it the last couple of years. But I would say at the moment I'm loving it. He is passing. He's always been a good passer, but he's just sort of passing better at the moment. I'm going with the Luka. I've just talked myself into it.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm going with the Tatum, not because I don't like Luka. I prefer the grade on this number to 99, and I do think the Tatum's underrated, and this is probably Tatum's best chance to win it all this year because the Celtics are in very scary form and a championship might just change.
That roster is an absolute monster. So,
because I know that's a monster roster.
Yeah.
But if the Celtics take the chip, that man's the one that's winning finals MVP.
Unless Jaylen Brown does.
I still reckon Tatum.
Yeah. He's the centerpiece, yeah.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, Ad?
Happy days in the hobby.
Great.
40,000 points is a lot.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah. Kobe White's where you want to get that cheap kaboom. Got thoughts galore.
My final thoughts, Caitlin Clark. Exciting stuff.
Very, very.
SGA, we need to talk about him more, and Anthony Black is my this week's Herbert Jones.
This week's Herbert Jones Award goes to Anthony Black.
The Herbert Jones Award.
We'll be back next week with more card ladder comping. I like these. I like these way too much. But
you do. You
maybe the listeners should like try and do some comps, like that they've bought two cards at a similar price.
I can do that. I'm just not going to lie to you. It's just heaps quicker for me to get them off Twitter.
I like saying I tag you. I try and forward them to you, and I'm like, look at this one. It's great. Maybe we look at some single ones and look at the fluctuations.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, thanks, Card Ladder. You're giving us lots of stuff to talk about. Make our life easy.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.